Equation, income at year X. Lecture 2026. Graph of a line with years on the x-axis and income on the y-axis passes through 2 points. Year 1, 20,000. Year 1, 20,000. Year 3, 40,000. Don't forget, year is on the x-axis, income is on the y-axis. So year 1, 20,000. Year 3 is 40,000. What is the slope of this line? What will be the equation of this line? Assume constant slope. Can you rearrange the equation to make it look like y is equal to mx plus b? Question number 4, complete the ordered pair. This person has an income of $100,000, and the question is, during what year? What is slope? Slope is change in y over change in x. What is our change in y? X equals 1, y equals 20,000. So this is x1, y1. And this is x2, y2. So what is change in y? It is 40,000 minus 20,000. And that is 20,000. So we have change in y. To get the slope, we need change in y over change in x. So what is change in x? Year 3 minus year 1. So 3 minus 1, and that is 2. So what is our slope? And slope is m, and that is change in y over change in x. And that is 20,000 divided by 2. And that is 10,000. Slope is 10,000. What does that mean? It is $10,000. $10,000 per year. So that's how much your slope is. Is it positive or negative? Fortunately, it is positive. So what does that mean? What does that mean? This person's income is growing at the rate of $10,000 every year. The first year, this person had 20,000. So after 1 year, it should be 30,000. 1 more year, 40,000. 1 more year, 50,000. 1 more year, 60,000. 1 more year, 70,000. 1 more year, 80,000. 1 more year, 90,000. And 1 more year, 100,000. All right. So you can do that in your head, or we can just come up with an equation, substitute y is equal to 100,000 and solve for x. Question is, how do you get the equation? x1, y1, x2, y2, slope. Whenever we divide, I always like to put parentheses. So you substitute all those numbers and you get 40,000 minus 20,000 divided by 3 minus 1, and that is 20,000 divided by 2, 10,000 per year. So what is the equation of the line? For us to predict the future, we need an x and a y. So what we can do is, we already know what m is. We already know what x1 is. We already know what y1 is. To predict the future, we need x and y. So what we can do is convert this x2 to x and y2 to y. So our new slope equation becomes y minus y1 over x minus x1. Do we know m? Yes. Do we know y1? Yes. Do we know x1? Yes. And now it'll be easy for us to substitute x or y or whatever is given. Fortunately, we are given y. We are given y because we are told that y is $100,000, right? Question is, which year? That means what? X. So that's what I will do. So m is equal to y minus y1 over x minus x1. From that, I cross multiply. M is the same as m over 1. So m times x minus x1 is equal to y minus y1. So that's what I did here. M is 10,000, x1 is 1, y1 is 20,000, x2 is x, y2 is y. So I get slope is equal to y2. Instead of y2, it's y. Minus 20,000, y2 minus y1 divided by x2. Instead of x2, it's just x minus x1. We are predicting the future, so we need x and y. We have to substitute x and find y, or Substitute for y and find x. So this is our equation. Slope is equal to y2. Instead of y2, just y. Y minus y1. Y1 is what? $20,000. Divided by x2. Instead of x2, just x minus 1. Rearrange the equation to make it look like y is equal to mx plus b. So 10,000 equals y minus 20,000 divided by x minus 1. So what we do is cross multiply. And when we cross multiply, what do we get? 10,000 times 10,000 times x minus 1 is equal to y minus 20,000. 10,000 times x is 10,000x. 10,000 times negative 1 is negative 10,000. Y minus 20,000. Add 20,000 to both sides. And what do we get? Negative 10,000 plus 20,000 becomes 10,000. So our y is equal to 10,000x plus 10,000. You can substitute for y. You can substitute the income that you want to have in your account and solve for x, the year during which that will happen. Isn't that nice? So this is our equation. Y is equal to 10,000x plus 10,000. Once we have y is equal to 10,000 x plus 10,000, it's easy for us to substitute y is equal to 100,000. So when do you have $100,000 in your account? 100,000 is equal to 10,000x plus 10,000. Subtract 10,000 from both sides. Please don't forget, this is 100,000. This is just 10,000. So what is 100,000 minus 10,000? It will be 90,000, and that will be equal to 10,000x. So divide both sides by 10,000, and so what do we get? X is equal to 9. So by 9th year, when x equals 9, we will have 100,000. So please don't forget, in the first year, we had 20,000 to begin with. Right? Year 1, 20,000. Year 2, what happens? From 20,000, it becomes 30,000. Year 3, from 30, it becomes 40,000. And year 4, from 40, it becomes 50,000. Year 5, 60,000. Year 6, 70,000. Year 7, 80,000. And year 8, 90,000. And year 9, 100,000. Makes sense. So that's what I did here. Y is equal to 10,000x plus 10,000. Please don't forget, it is y that is equal to 100,000. So substitute y is equal to 100,000 and solve for the year. So you see 100,000 is equal to 10,000x plus 10,000. Subtract 10,000 from both sides and divide both sides by 10,000 and you get 9 years. So x equals 9, y is equal to 100,000. And this is George Mathew signing off. Good luck.